Well, after World War II, every European country was tired of fighting. And the post-war period saw a lot of resistance from Africans that was beginning to grow, and the push for independence began to spread throughout Africa. Yeah, I think it's time for you guys to go now. Hey, come on man, we recently just had a major war and our whole countries are massively destroyed. Can't you guys just give us like a couple of years for us to rebuild our continent and then we will leave? How much time are you talking about? 20 to 15 years. And due to a lot of pressure from a lot of African movements, the early 1960s saw a lot of African countries gain independence. Most but not all, including this one right here, Angola. See, now the Portuguese had been hanging around since the 16th century, mostly because it was very profitable. And they were pretty terrible rulers. For centuries, they treated the local people so badly by the 1950s, a bunch of Angolans were still basically being used as free laborers, which is, not cool. So some Angolans decided, hey, maybe we should start a political party. And so in 1956, the Popular Movement for the Liberation of Angola, also called as the MPLA, was formed. They were made up of a bunch of different ethnic groups, but they all agreed on one thing, that the Portuguese had to leave. And they got popular really fast. But because nothing can be simple, another political party showed up in the north, the National Liberation Front of Angola, FNLA for short. And this party was made by this guy, Roberto, who was apparently a big fan of not being a communist. He got all his good ideas from the West and the president of Zaire at the time. And did I mention that the MPLA was left-leaning? And by left-leaning, I mean they had a lot of communist ideologies. So you can already picture where this is going. And so the country was now red and blue. Meanwhile, the Portuguese were still running things in Angola, which meant they were still being, terrible. So they had these cotton plantations where workers were basically treated like slaves, and it was just so boringly miserable. I'm tired of picking this cotton. I'm tired of not being paid. And this stupid ID card says I'm a worker, so I'm supposed to get paid. This is insane. You know what? Let's burn them. Burn our cards? Yeah. And while we're at it, let's go and give those guys a strongly worded letter. What, do you hear something? Well, the letter was less of a letter and more of a spontaneous revolt. And the Portuguese, of course, responded in the most reasonable way, by bombing a bunch of nearby villages and killing about 7,000 civilians. So yeah, the Angolan War for Independence had officially begun. And a few weeks later, another uprising happened in the capital city of Luanda, and the Portuguese government decided the best way to deal with it was to arm a bunch of angry white settlers. Naturally, it ended up in a massive bloodbath. Now that's how you put out a revolt. And despite all this, the Angolans kept fighting. But remember how I said nothing can ever be simple? Well, it turns out that the Angolans weren't all that unified either. Because with the Portuguese being terrible and the Angolans fighting back, you'd think they could be on the same team, right? Well, you're wrong. So we are the cool new party. We are going to fight for the independence. It's all about unity, teamwork, and me being the leader. That's really important. Me being the leader. Wait a minute. This says you are being fractional and you are only focusing on your own ethnic group. Definitely not cool. What are you talking about? We are a very inclusive party. We have me and all my friends from this one specific ethnic group. And yeah, and we have this guy. He's you're from the south, right? Right. Nope. I'm taking my boat and going home. These guys and I are starting our own party. We are going to call it UNITA. UNITA? What does that even mean? It means we want total independence and we're going to do it. Totally. And with that, Angola went from having 2 independence parties to 3. Because why have 2 groups fighting when you can have 3? Alright, so the 3 main political parties went and met with Portugal and decided, okay, you guys get out in 1980 and we'll figure out who is in charge. And with the ever-rising tension, the Portuguese were all too happy to pack their bags and leave the whole mess behind. Actually, We're gonna live as early as 1975, and you guys will take it from here. Good luck, champs. But the three main groups couldn't just get along and form a government. It turns out that after fighting a common enemy for so long, they had forgotten how to basically do anything else except fighting. So when the Portuguese left, the MPLA took control of the capital, Luanda, because they knew that whoever held the city in November 11 of 1975 would be seen as the official government. Yeah, we definitely beat them.